Guys, what's going on? Hello and welcome to Serial at Midnight. This is the stack of new Kino Lorber arrivals. This is March 2022 and part of April. All of April is not here yet, but look at the size of the stack. So I was like, let's go ahead and fire up the camera and do a Kino Lorber spotlight on the latest releases. So the good news about some of this stuff being March titles and it now being April as I'm making this is I've had a chance to watch a good bit of this. But this is not a review video. Reviews will show up at CerealAtMidnite.com, and if you're a subscriber for this YouTube channel, then you see when I upload those reviews because I share them to YouTube as well. All right, let's dive right into it. Thanks to Kino Lorber for sending this stuff over for me to review and to share with you. Let's kick it off with The Apartment. Billy Wilder. I love this movie. There is a review for this. I've written it and published it already. It's CerealAtMidnite.com. It is, for me, pretty close to perfection. Jack Lemmon, Shirley MacLaine, Fred MacMurray. We talked a little bit about this in my Tony Curtis. I read Tony Curtis's first autobiography, and he's like, The Apartment was about me. The Apartment was about me. Like he was going and having these affairs in this apartment on high above the Hollywood Hills, and it's pretty much that story. Jack Lemmon is this button-down business guy, but he's loaning his apartment out so people can go have affairs in it, and then he comes in after them, and he's just like eating his TV dinners. And all these lives kind of meet in this one place, and it's just a wonderful. It's like, as a movie fan, this is the kind of movie that I get excited about. It's why I love movies. It's now out on 4K from Kino Lorber. This is the 4K. You get the 4K and the Blu-ray with this edition. No alternate artwork here, but it looks gorgeous on 4K. I mean, it is just stunning. It is. If you love The Apartment and you're like, I don't know if I want to upgrade, if you have 4K capability, do it. Also, because this comes with the Blu-ray, if you don't own this movie, this is a good way to future-proof your collection because you're getting the Blu-ray, which is the 4K restoration, but of course the quality is just like a drop in the bucket compared to the actual 4K disc because it's been compressed. 4K restorations on Blu-ray, that's not 4K. You're taking the 4K resolution and you're cramming it, you're squeezing it, compressing it down. So you're losing at least half the quality, sometimes more like 75% of the quality, depending on what Blu-ray they're putting that on. So if you're 4K capable, this is a no-brainer, but it's just perfect. 2 audio commentaries, one by the guy that wrote the book, Billy Wilder, Dancing on the Edge, Joseph McBride. Another by Bruce Block. You have the Vintage Inside the Apartment documentary. It's about half an hour. There's a 12-minute, a really 13-minute spotlight on Jack Lemmon. And then the theatrical trailer. Great. I love what Kino Lorber is doing with 4K Ultra HDs, like Eastern Promises. Here's another one. This is the 4K and the Blu-ray. Now, I haven't had a chance to check this one out yet. This is one of those that came in very recently. But it's Cronenberg, right? I've seen the movie. What do you want to say about Eastern Promises? That scene, right? The bathhouse scene. That's what we're all thinking about, right? That fight and everything. Again, no alternate artwork here, but you have the movie on 4K, you have the movie on Blu-ray, and you have a bevy of special features. We got, you know what? I'm just going to hold them up. You can read those. I don't want to tell you what you can see for yourself. I have not reviewed this yet, but I will be reviewing it. And again, I think this is the third time, and I'll stop here. CerealAtMidnite.com. I post reviews there. Just the other day, someone said, whoa, I know you talk about how you post reviews to CerealAtMidnite.com and how people should go there every day, but I don't. And when I did, I was like, whoa, there's a lot of stuff here that's not on the YouTube channel. It's like, I know, I'm doing it every day. So that's, don't miss, man. Don't miss it. I'm super excited about this. This is the Edgar G. Ulmer Sci-Fi collection. This is a 3-pack, So these movies, I think all of them were previously issued by Shout Factory. What you're noticing is Shout Factory is letting a lot of things go out of print. They're letting things, I don't know why, I could guess. They're letting a lot of stuff go. And Kino Lorber's picking it up. And other companies are picking it up too. But the good news is that this stuff doesn't really go out of print. So fear, this is what I always say, fear is not a reason to buy. Don't buy out of fear. Don't buy out of FOMO, fear of missing out. Buy because you want it, Buy because you want to watch the movies. I would also say don't buy it just to put it on your shelf and not watch it. Buy it because you want to watch the movies. These are great. Edgar G. Ulmer is, sometimes they call Roger Corman the king of the Bs, and he hates that because he says he's never made a B movie because B movies, have your A movie and then the B movie would play after that. He says, I never made a B movie. He made low budget movies, but Edgar G. Ulmer is the true king of the Bs, and I should do a video about him. We talked about him a little bit in our Poverty Row video with C. Courtney Joyner. Great talent, came from legit, German expressionism. I believe he helped build some sets. Here, I'm getting too in the weeds. These movies are out. The Man from Planet X, which is one of the things that came up in the Q&A video, the 25,000 Q&A videos, like what are my quote guilty pleasures? I don't feel guilty about anything that I like, but the question is like, what do you love that's not great? And it's stuff like this. I love 50s sci-fi, 50s horror movies, black and white, low budget. And here's a 3-pack of great stuff here. Now, they're all on, I'm sorry, I didn't do the noise. I have to do the noise. They're all on one disc. But listen, these movies are like 70 minutes each. 71 minutes, 75 minutes, and 58 minutes. So it's about 3 hours worth of content, just a little bit more. That's not a problem. And a lot of special features are here, guys. I have not done the side-by-side comparison to see if everything that was on the Shout Factory, Scream Factory release got carried over. But look, audio commentary by Tom Weaver, David Schechter, Joe Dante, Dr. Robert J. Kiss, Gary D. Rhodes. This just was on and on. Edgar G. Ulmer's daughter is here on one of the commentaries. Richard Harlan Smith, Tom Weaver again. Tons of stuff here. Film history. David Del Valle is here. And then the theatrical trailers, they're loaded up. This stuff is loaded up. And as a fan of this, it makes me super happy to see that it's not going away. It's staying in print. Because, I've got... All right. I get so excited. I don't want this video to be an hour. The shorter the video, the more people will click it. So let's do our best to press on. Zoot Suit. Edward James Olmos in a movie about the 1940s Zoot Suit sort of swing underground thing. Ugh. Look at that. We got alternate artwork there. Boom. It's kind of even a little bit different on the back too. I haven't watched this one yet, but I'm really excited to see it. Audio commentary by Daniel Kramer and interview with writer-director Luis Valdez. This is early Edward James Olmos, so it's 1981. I know this has a huge cult following. If you've seen it, what do you think about it? This is tentacles, or what's the Italian? I think it's tentacoli is the Italian. By the way, alternate artwork here, and also on the inside as well. 1977, totally chasing the success of Jaws. As you know, there's a butt ton of it's my southern. Oh, channel my southern, y'all. There's a butt ton of Jaws ripoff movies that came out in like 76, 77. That you're chasing that success. And this is one of them, and it's obviously it's an octopus, right? First of all, look at that art. I'm so happy that Kino Lorber gave this the like deluxe slipcover treatment, because that is a real pretty Blu-ray. The movie is not great. It is, I believe the director is Greek. Well, let me see. It's Ovidio Assanitis. Assanitis, I think is how you say it. Directing as, I think he's using the pseudonym Oliver Hellman. But it's one of those like Euro exploitation movies. They filmed it in California, so it's got big name actors. John Huston is here, which always, I'm like, he's a great director. He's a great character actor. When he pops up in stuff like this, I'm just like, huh. Shelley Winters is here. Bo Hopkins is great. Henry Fonda is in this as well. None of those are deserving of the movie, really, if you ask me. But here's the thing. One of the things that I love about these Euro, it's the composer is Italian. In fact, it's I'm looking for it on the back. S.W. Cipriani also did the score for like Stunt Squad, which I think that's not the direct Italian to English translation. It's like Executive Squad or something like that. Anyway, who put that out? I'm having a complete meltdown because that's not what I was talking about. You can find stunt squad out there. His scores from this period, they're very heavy on the synth. And that's here too. So what am I saying? Tentacles is not a great movie. It's a fun movie, but the score is like, mwah! The score is amazing. It's got this, that 1977 synth-driven thing. Check it out. Look it up online. Anyway, you probably want to get this anyway. If you like that stuff, if you're into Italian exploitation and stuff like that, you definitely want to check it out. New Year's Evil. Also a review for this at CerealAtMidnite.com. Check it out. This is another one that I believe Scream Factory had put out in 2015. And guess what? It went out of print, but here it is. And this has an audio commentary with the director and with it's moderated by Code Red's Bill Banana Man Olsen. If you're a Banana Man fan, here you go. The Making of New Year's Evil is 37 minutes. That was on the Scream Factory release. I guess it was made for the Scream Factory release. That's here. So I assume Kino Lorber had to license that, which is awesome. They sprang for that. They paid the money to do that, and that's great because if you're a collector of movies, if you love movies, the real draw for you here is going to be that this is a new 2K scan. So it's already better than the Scream Factory release, which was not a new scan. So this is a new 2K scan. It looks really good. It's crazy to me, not in a bad way. It's just crazy to me that these movies from VHS staples, right? Video store staples, kind of bottom shelf stuff, things that never looked particularly good, do look good now. It's a great, that's why I say all the time, like, we're living in an age of wonders for this stuff. Because, like, New Year's Evil, new 2K restoration, commentary, 37 minute making of feature. This is a new artwork. This is new artwork by Vince Evans. And then again, you've got the original. You don't love slipcases, you've got this too. So, and then this also does have reversible artwork there too. So, cool package. Again, I wrote a review for it, so if you want to know my thoughts, you can check it out. A couple of Rock Hudson upgrades from the Universal catalog. First of all, we got Man's Favorite Sport. I've got these on DVD. There's a bunch of... Rock Hudson had a contract at Universal for a good while there. And the movies are fun. This is kind of during his... this is the Doris Day romantic leading man period. This one is fun. It's Rock Hudson and Paula Prentice, who is pretty great in this movie. They're both pretty great. Let me say this. I love Rock Hudson. Versatile, could do just about anything. Was super convincing as like the strapping, action man. 2 words for you. If you're skeptical about Rock Hudson or you just don't know, Hornet's Nest. Now that Kino Lorber put that one out too. That is an amazing movie. There's a scene, he's like riding in the back of a Jeep, just like throwing grenades, and he's really doing it. It's all one shot. He's just like throwing grenades and stuff's blowing up as they're riding by. It's an amazing movie. I think Quentin Tarantino likes that movie a lot too. But Man's Favorite Sport is like the premise of this is that he's a sports authority he's written a book about fishing. He works at Abercrombie and Fitch, which is not... Abercrombie and Fitch has been around since the 1800s. They were a sporting brand of like fishing gear and stuff like that, and they reinvented themselves of late with the whole like preppy look and stuff, but they were like a hunting brand. So he works for Abercrombie and Fitch, but here's the thing, he doesn't know how to fish and he doesn't really know any of this stuff. He's kind of been faking it. So he gets entered into this competition, and it's just kind of like, fish out of water, literally. But it's fun, and I enjoy this one quite a bit. This has a audio commentary by Michael Schlesinger, with select remarks by co-star Paula Prentice and actor-director Richard Benjamin, and the theatrical trailer. Also, an upgrade from the Universal Rock Hudson catalog is Strange Bedfellows, which he did with Gina Lollobrigida. So much controversy about how you pronounce Gina Lollobrigida's name. I like to say Gina Lollobrigida, but apparently it's hotly debated because there's the Midwestern pronunciation, which is Lollobrigida. However you pronounce it, she's here. She's gorgeous, and she is... she made several movies with Rock Hudson. This is not my favorite. I prefer Come September, I think is the name of that one. It's got Bobby Darin in it as well, and Sandra Dee. Real life couple. But this one's fun for what it is. It's sort of Rock Hudson in in England as it's like opposites attract. They have nothing in common, but they're married. They have to keep up the sham of their marriage to get this thing to convince this guy that they're a happily married couple. So, wacky comedy. It's got a commentary by film historian Eddie von Mueller and the theatrical trailer. And I'm going to jump ahead. This is not a Kino Lorber Studio Classics release. This is a Kino Classics release, DVD only, of Rock Hudson's home movies. So, standard definition. This is in 1990, I think it's 1992. I'm going to say early 90s. Yeah, 92. And the thesis of this is that, like Rock Hudson was gay, but people didn't know he was gay until he basically announced that he was dying of AIDS at the end of his life. And this filmmaker has put together, it's part tribute, but it's like, it's hard to talk about. I don't think it works, but maybe you do. Have you guys seen Rock Hudson's home movies? And if so, what do you think about it? Kind of the idea is like he's narrating. They've got an actor to narrate as if he's Rock Hudson, but he doesn't look anything like Rock Hudson. He doesn't sound like Rock Hudson. And they're fictionalizing certain aspects of Rock Hudson's life. Like, what if he was telling us about what it was like to be gay in Hollywood all those years? Which, there's books about it. It's not a secret. But what I don't love about it is there's lots and lots of clips of Rock Hudson movies taken from very poor VHS sources, and taken completely out of context to make it seem as if they're taking clips that have nothing to do with what they're talking about and making it fit an agenda. Whether it's an agenda I agree with or not, clearly, like, that's just not what those clips are for. And so the criticism that you see about this movie is like, well, they're kind of twisting it to... It's like people that read Bible verses to support whatever agenda they're trying to push, right? It's like, well, that's not really what that was. If you read the rest of that, you see what they're trying to say. But at the same time, I don't want to take this away from anybody because I understand it was probably hugely important in the early 90s, in the time that Rock Hudson was being reconciled, his career was being reconciled with his truth, So this is out now, but I needed to include that with the Rock Hudson block of coverage here. Let's talk about a movie that I absolutely loved. This is Shakedown. This is a film noir directed by Joseph Pevney. There's been a lot of Pevney here lately. I believe Pevney directed the... no. See, this is where I get myself into trouble. Stay on target. Okay, Shakedown. I've reviewed 3 Pevney movies in the last 3 months, probably. All of the film noir persuasion. Tony Curtis was in one of them. And Pevney is just really great at doing I say this a lot, there's a competency in the studio system at this time. Universal had these talents, they had these directors, and it was just like boom, 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 boom. They just crank these things out, but they're all great, they're all watchable. So the premise of this movie is there's this photographer. It's a 1950 film. There's a photographer who always is in the right place at the right time, right? He's catching crime scene stuff. He's catching accidents. He shouldn't be able to do this. And then you kind of learn that it's not really luck. He's kind of he's savvy enough to see when things are about to happen. And then he gets mixed up with the local crime boss, which is played by Brian Dunleavy. He tips him off, the crime boss tips him off like, well, this is going down tomorrow at 8 o'clock at this warehouse. Be great if you got a picture of this to expose this guy so the cops could come pick him up because he's a rat, see? And he then starts to play both sides against each other, plays the reporter side, the cop side, and the crime side for his own benefit. It's very film noir, ambition, the flaws of human character, but it's great. Howard Duff, Brian Dunleavy, Peggy Dow, Lawrence Tierney is one of the crime guys in here. Lawrence Tierney from Reservoir Dogs. I talked more about this in Classic Film Flavors number 4, which is coming soon. And I had 80 minutes long, and it's a testament for what you can do in 80 minutes. Like, all these movies are like 3 hours and 4 hours for certain. So I'm thinking of the Zack Snyder Justice League. I'm like, there is so much to be said for just like a tightly wound little ball of tension. That is important, and we're getting further away from it. But boy, when you see him, you're like, wow. It just like blows your audio commentary by film scholar Jason A. Nay, and the trailer highly recommended by CerealAtMidnite. W.C. Fields, You Can't Cheat an Honest Man. I think there's 2 more W.C. Fields movie's coming in April, but this is the first one. This has Edgar Bergen, Candice Bergen's dad. Candy Bergen, I'm doing my Lauren Michaels. Candy Bergen would come around a lot, She'd be always sort of around the scene. She was really, showbiz child from Edgar Bergen. Ventriloquist guy from the vaudeville era, 30s and into the 40s. And full disclosure, so one of his demos, Charlie McCarthy, this is the Charlie McCarthy puppet. And then there was a Mortimer Snerd puppet, which is like the... When I was a kid, I had a Mortimer Snerd ventriloquist doll. So this is like full circle for me. Like 35 years later, I got the movies on... I got this movie on Blu-ray. There's more Edgar Bergen stuff in the Universal Vaults, I believe. I'm curious if that's going to see a disc release soon. I love... just in the last year, we've gotten like pretty much everything that Mae West did at Universal, and now it looks like we're getting everything that W.C. Fields did at Universal. Armageddon. This is a 1970s... I haven't watched this one yet. 1977 movie with Alain Delon in it. It is... I have nothing to say because I haven't watched it yet. So I'm going to hold it up for you. I'm going to flip it around, and if you want to read that, you go ahead and freeze frame it, and we'll talk about it after I've seen it. No alternate art or anything like that. It does have a commentary. Howard S. Berger, Steve Mitchell, and Nathaniel Thompson. I'm definitely curious about it because isn't this in French? I believe, I sort of believe that it's sort of a French movie, but who can say? It's sort of, who knows? The Body of My Enemy, Jean-Paul Belmondo, rest in peace. Kino Lorber has put out a ton of Belmondo. Now I'm getting myself in trouble with all this French stuff. Again, haven't watched it yet. I'm curious to see it. It's 1976. Here's the rear. Here's the back of the box. Here's the rear, you guys. Let me show you the rear. Commentary film has Howard S. Berger, Steve Mitchell, Nathaniel Thompson. Same team as was on the Armageddon release. So we'll talk more about it. We'll sort of talk more about it on the other side of watching it. Now and Forever, another one I'm super excited about, but just haven't had a chance to get to it yet because it takes time to get through these movies, guys. And I like to watch them. I'm not one of these people who just goes like, this came out and this came out. I'm watching this stuff. I'm a super huge cinephile. Gary Cooper and Carole Lombard. Man, I love Carole Lombard. Somewhere back here is the Carole Lombard box set that Kino Lorber released. And Shirley Temple's in this too. Little Shirley Temple. And it's directed by Henry Hathaway. So super excited to watch it. I love these guys. Brand new 2K Master. Gary Cooper's a guy, I'll say this, because I need to have things to say about this. I have turned around on Gary Cooper. I used to think that he was as interesting as watching, milk turn into cheese or watching paint dry or whatever. Like, I just wasn't feeling it. And I recognized that, like, High Noon, great movie. But, certain actors, you just like, well, they're not really charismatic. But then I go back to like 30s and 40s, particularly 30s, Gary Cooper. And I'm just like, well, there's what I was missing. He was charismatic, but you just have to find him in the right role. So I'm really excited to check this one out. This does have a commentary by Lee Gambin and costume historian Alyssa Rose and the theatrical trailer. Did I show you guys the back of it? A couple more deep cuts here. We got a 1946 movie, Irving Berlin's Blue Skies. Look at that cast list. Bing Crosby, Fred Astaire. What did they ever do? Did they have success? Yeah, underground successes. Joan Caulfield, and it's a 40s movie in color. So for people, sometimes people say interesting things. They're like, I have I made a reference about the 50s or the 60s, and I made the clicker remote thing, and they're like, remote controls didn't exist for early TVs, and I'm like, yes, they did. And now it's when you see my long intro, when I do the long intro with the Cereal at Midnight is on, I specifically put in a 1950s commercial for a TV with a remote control. But, the idea that a 40s movie would be in color, I think that's a novelty for some people they're still discovering that. But man, movies, look at The Wizard of Oz, right? Good stuff. Good stuff there. So brand new 2K Master for this one. I'm really excited to check it out. I haven't seen a whole lot of Bing Crosby, but the more that I do, I'm like, there's a lot going on. There's a boo 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 boo, but there's a lot more than that. was talking to somebody recently about Elvis, and they were talking about, like, when I was younger, I knew Elvis as like the fat Vegas bloated, guy, and it was always kind of a parody. But then you see the younger Elvis, and you're like, whoa, there's a lot there. We all have these gateways, and I think the public image of Bing Crosby with like bubbles in a pipe and stuff is not necessarily representative of his whole career. So anyway, this is good stuff. Film critic and author Simon Abrams did the commentary for that one, and we have Backstreet with Charles Boyer and Margaret Sullivan. This is from 1941. All this stuff's all of these are from the Universal vaults. I'm loving the partnership with Kino Lorber and these Universal classics, because this is stuff like, I don't think Universal is going to put these out on their own. They might multi-pack them in a DVD set or something like that, but this is good stuff because Universal is one of those studios that has a very old catalog that's filled with great stuff. It's like I was saying, great contract players, great directors, great talent, always competent. The movies may not be like, oh, that's a 5-time Academy Award winner like The Apartment, but a lot of this stuff is worth watching. It's worth talking about. It's worth seeing. So this is a 1941 movie from Robert Stevenson, and it's got new 2K master here too. That's cool too that because Universal does the transfers for these things. Universal's given all this stuff new scans. Audio commentary by Lee Gammon and costume historian Alyssa Rose. Check this one out, you guys. Fast Charlie, David Carradine. Kane from Kung Fu. Bill. The more people know him from Bill now, right? Than Kane from Kung Fu. That's a statement on my age. For me, he's always Kane from Kung Fu. Fast Charlie the Moonbeam Rider is a 1979 movie. This is, hey, it's another Universal movie. Audio commentary by film historian Eddie Von Mueller. Theatrical trailer. We'll talk more about this on the other side, because this is one that I think a lot of you guys are going to want to see a review for. All right, we're shifting gears here to Kino Lorber stuff, and I have most of this stuff still sealed, and I have very little to say about it right now, but maybe on the other side of it. Fabian Going to the Dogs. This looks like a sex discovery movie set in 1931 Berlin. Here, I'll flip it around, and you can freeze frame that and read the description about it. Looks like it was entered into a lot of festivals. Hey, it won Best Cinematography, Best Film, Silver Lola, Golden Lola Best Editing, Silver Lola for Best Film, and the Golden Lola for Best Cinematography from the German Film Awards. So, well, couple from Kino Lorber, Kino Classics. These are two Robert Siodmak. How do you say it? It's the whole Lola Brigida thing all over again. Let me do these in order. From 1930, we have Farewell. German film. Both of these are his German work. Brigitte Hornet, Heribert Moog. Oh, jeez. I'm out here in the deep end now. Anyway, 1930 movie. Audio commentary by film historian Anthony Slide. Includes an alternate happy ending. It's not new. Audiences have always hated a down ending, even in 1930. So there's an alternate happy ending. I love that stuff like this is being preserved. This is... You and I are simply walking through history, but this is history. Do as you will. Okay. And then from 1957, we have The Devil Strikes at Night. It's a serial killer movie. It's a Nazi serial killer movie. This is like a serial killer wandering through Nazi Germany, and I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard really cool things about it, so I'm really excited to see it. It was an Academy Award nominee for Best Foreign Language Film in 1958. Commentary by Imogen Sarah Smith, and there you go. Another really cool one from Cohen that I want to check out. This is Carol Kane in Hester Street. Another heavy movie. See, I'm discovering the other aspect of Carol Kane right now, because I know her from Taxi, first and foremost. I always thought that she was a comedic actor. And then I'm seeing stuff like this, which is from 1975, which is, Taxi era, roughly. And I'm like, whoa. She was a serious actress from the beginning. She would later do, and she still will do, like, drama, comedy. And I'm kind of amazed by her, to be honest with you. this tiny little powerhouse who's just the best. Anyway, Hester Street, it's got great bonus features. I'll hold this up and you can, I don't know, that's small. Maybe you can't see it. 2 new interviews with the director, archival commentary track, archival interviews with the cast and crew, restoration trailer, original opening title sequence, and outtakes with commentary by Daniel Kramer, author of an upcoming book about Joan McKinley Silver. Joan Micklin Silver. I'm sorry. Oranges and Sunshine, another Coen title. This has Emily Watson, Hugo Weaving, and David Wenham in it. This is from the Academy Award-winning producers of The King's Speech. Well, a producer is not a director. Again, I'll hold it up. Maybe we can talk about this on the flip side after I've actually seen it. Who knows when that will be? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I prioritize the classic stuff over new stuff because I just have more fun with it. I relate to it more. I'm a historian, but that doesn't mean that I exclude the new stuff. I do watch the new stuff. It just takes me a little bit longer to get to it sometimes. From Code Red, we've got five Code Red releases, and I'm doing these in order, I believe. We're kicking off with Code Red, because Kino Lorber distributes a lot of stuff for Code Red. This is Code Red title number 194, Starflight Zone. Never seen it. I'm excited about it because it's got Lee Majors in it, which is my name origin. That for those that don't know, Lee Majors played Heath Barkley on The Big Valley TV show, and lots of women were fans of Lee Majors in the 1970s, and there you go, Heath. That's how I ended up with it. I wonder if Heath Ledger's mom was a fan of Big Valley too. I don't know. But I've met a few other Heaths, and their moms were fans of Lee Majors as well. I guess I could have been a Steve Austin if it had been a little bit different. And I had to like... Anyway, Starflight Zone. Starflight 1. What am I... Okay, it's Starflight 1. People are furious right now. They're like, no! This guy doesn't even know. It's Starflight 1, because I've never seen it. It's got an interesting font. It's Starflight 1. Anyway, interesting cast. No real special features here. New 2K scan. I'm moving away from it as fast as I can because I'm trying to distance myself. Dagmar's Hot Pants. Inc. This is a 1971 Swedish erotic movie, if I understand correctly. Haven't watched it, but I know some of you guys is going to be up your alley, up your street. Again, no special features here, but new 2K scan. All this stuff's getting new 2K scans. That's pretty exciting. And Dirty O'Neill, The Love Life of a Cop, 1974. New 2K scan. Yeah, new 2K master. And then the last Code Red title we're going to talk about. Oh no, there's more. This is number 197, The Violent Breed. Now I'm super excited about this. This is more my speed. This is a 1984 action movie with Henry Silva, and I love me some Henry Silva. New 2K scan? Yeah, brand new 2K master. Let's see if this has, no reversible artwork or anything like that. No features other than that and the trailer, but you know, you're paying for the movie. Okay, here's the last one we're going to talk about for Code Red. They've just released a new edition of Screams of a Winter Night. Now, this one's still sealed. I already own this movie. I reviewed this movie several years ago when Dark Force Entertainment issued it. So there's a review for this at CerealAtMidnite.com. And Dark Force Entertainment actually, without my knowledge, pulled quotes from that review and put them up on their website to promote this release. So, and then I reached out and I was like, hey guys, we could do good work together. And David... Demon Dave, is that what he goes by? He was like, let me check out some of your stuff. And that was the last I heard. So, okay, it goes on. Screams of a Winter Night. It's a fun, low budget, essentially regional horror. There's an appeal for that because you can see what people can do with, some people will only make one movie in their whole life. They spend, they have all these influences and they have a budget of like, $5,000 or $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, and they have some friends and they go make a thing, and that's the only thing they're ever going to do professionally. And that's really fun because you get to see it's like for fans by fans, you know what I mean? So that's the appeal of regional horror. So this is a 2K scan of the uncut director's edition, the original theatrical trailer, on-camera interview with star Gil Glasgow, and the trailer. So if you want to know more, hit up CerealAtMidnite.com. I think that's 5 times. From Greenwich and Kino Lorber comes Let Me Be Me. This is a documentary about an autistic artist who designs dresses and fabric and clothes, and you see it's still sealed. I haven't watched it yet, but there we go. Here's a documentary, Mao, about another designer. First ever feature-length documentary about the design visionary Bruce Mao. Another documentary from Cohen. This is Breaking Bread, which is about the first Muslim Arab to win Israel's Master Chef. He's on a quest to make social change through food. Any foodies out there? Brighton 4. I know. Here, I'll just hold it up so you can see it and make up your own mind. And then this is, I'm intrigued by this one, The Red Star. This is a mockumentary. The Red Star is a mockumentary about the fictional Leila Salama, a mysterious woman who may have contributed to the capture of Adolf Eichmann in Buenos Aires in 1960, but was neglected by history. So it's in Spanish with optional subtitles. Curious about this one. It seems like an interesting idea for a movie. Here, I'll hold it up, show it. So you see Kino Lorber, that's kind of the gamut for Kino Lorber. We got the Kino Lorber Studio Classics, which are my favorite. I think it's clear, right? We talk about a lot of stuff here, but what I get the most excited about is Hollywood history. 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and into the 80s. When you get into the 80s, it's more nostalgia for me, but my passion is Hollywood history, studio movie history. Kino Lorber Studio Classics, one of my favorite things in the world. But then you see the whole, the documentaries and the independent films and the art house films and stuff like that. And quite a spectrum of stuff. And then the grindhouse, the Swiss erotica, stuff like that. So they're doing great things. There's a sale right now at Kino Lorber that should be running through the middle of April, I believe. And if you want, people always go, Heath, recommend some Kino Lorber to me. Well, I mean, I got 300 of these things, and my taste may not be your taste. I would say your film noir, your 50s horror, your low budget B movies, your studio classics like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and your spaghetti westerns, your genre movies. That's what I always go with. I'd rather watch that than like a 1980, whatever, like a coming of age movie or something like that. I like genre movies, but everybody's different, so everybody's going to want different things. So if you do want recommendations, there's a playlist of this video goes in the playlist. There's a Kino Lorber playlist. It's like a couple dozen videos, and I've talked about hundreds and hundreds of Kino Lorber titles on this channel. And I've given you my take, just like here. I've given you my take on what I think about so many of them. So I would recommend you to that playlist and also to CerealAtMidnite.com. That's 6 times now. And just type in Kino Lorber, because I've written reviews for so many Kino Lorber titles over the years. And they're all there waiting to be discovered by you. So guys, thanks for hanging out thanks for hanging out with me in this episode. Whew, almost got the YouTube strike there. This was a lot of fun, and we'll talk about more Kino Lorber very soon. Reviews for this stuff will be popping up, where, and let's discover this stuff together. Thank you so much. Take care. Until next time, I will catch you later.